Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I'm in quite a rare car. It's this 2016 Mercedes E-Class. And before you say, hang on a minute, that's not a rare car at all, well, let me show you what's under the bonnet. What you're looking at, ladies and gents, is the M276 engine. So unlike Europe, where every E-Class you see is an E220D, this is an E400 petrol. Since you can no longer buy the E500 with a V8, what you're looking at here is the most powerful non-AMG E-Class money can buy. What this is a 3.5 litre twin turbocharged V6 with 328 brake horsepower. That means this car will do 0 to 62 in just under 5 seconds, so it is properly quick. By the way, this engine's no relation to the old Mercedes 3.5 V6 that suffered with balance shaft issues. This is a completely different thing. This in fact is quite a rare engine that Mercedes only used in a handful of cars. You know, thinking about it, it seems these days Mercedes builds a car for absolutely everybody, starting off with the humble A-Class, all the way up to the billionaire's car of choice, the Maybach S-Class. But the E-Class, as it always has, seems to be more of an everyman's car. Whilst every other E-Class I've driven does feel like the everyman's car, this feels a whole lot better. This E400, in fact, feels like, well, it feels like a miniature S-Class. The last time I filmed a review with the 213 E-Class, as nice as it was, it did feel like a large C. Whereas this E400 definitely feels like, well, like a small S. I've had a lot of these cars through work, but they're always fitted with a clattery diesel engine, and it leaves me feeling like a German taxi driver. They're a bit uber exec, aren't they? This is a different story though. It's genuinely lush. I'm currently in Victoria, Australia, but this particular car is actually a Japanese import because they never made this version here in Australia. Or in fact in the UK. It is a very rare car, so I thought I've got to film with it. This might be my only chance. In Japan, they only sold the E400 as the exclusive model, and it comes with absolutely everything. When I say luxurious, let me explain. Firstly then, this everyman Mercedes is 4MATIC, which means it has all-wheel drive, so you should never lose grip. On top of that, it has air suspension, so it's got a silky smooth ride. In fact, I think Mercedes call it the magic body something or other. I can't quite remember, but what I do remember is the advert with the chickens. You remember that? This has that magic body, magic carpet thing, whatever it's called, and it is so smooth. When you're following this car, it's actually quite impressive to watch. It remains perfectly smooth, even on the roughest of roads. It just means the ride quality in this car is excellent. In fact, if you were to close your eyes, you would believe that you were in an S-Class. In any other car, I'd obviously advise that you don't close your eyes whilst you're driving, because that might be quite dangerous. But in this, you'd probably be okay. You see, this is fitted with an autopilot feature, so it will keep a safe distance between you and the car in front, and it'll also steer for you. This will keep you safely in your lane. So if you were, hypothetically, to close your eyes, you should be okay. I'm not going to, of course, in case I hit a kangaroo or a cyclist or something. In addition to that, you get nice, soft, upgraded seats. You get heated seats in the front and the back, which is quite a rare option. And you even get something called an ionizer to ensure the air you breathe is top-notch. It's better than the air you'd get in any other car anyway. I can't tell, to be honest, whether the air I'm breathing right now is the ionizer working overtime, or it's the fresh mountain air from the Dandenong mountain range. I'm not sure. Just looking around the interior now though, it does feel like you're in something really high-end. It feels like I'm in an S-Class. I love the Burmester audio you get. Not only does it sound good, but look at those speaker covers. They're really ornate. Also on lower end Mercedes, you'd get a brushed aluminium trim or piano black or something, but on this you get real wood grain, which makes it feel really upmarket. Oh, and also look at the carpet mats. I've never seen this before in anything other than a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, but you get wool mats. They're a really nice deep pile. As you can probably tell, I have properly fallen for this car. I also love the ambient lighting you get, and this has got Apple CarPlay, so it's nice and modern. In fact, the whole car is just loaded with tech. I love the big twin screens you get. It gives the illusion that it's just one big floating screen. You control the screens from this rotary dial down here, which couldn't be easier to operate. Once you spend 5 minutes with this car, I guarantee you'll know where everything is. Before we continue with the E400 review, I just need to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Car Vertical. Before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike, it's really important that you do a thorough vehicle history check first. And with Car Vertical, that couldn't be easier. All you do is go to carvertical.com and type in the reg or the VIN, and then check vehicle. A few moments later, you get a full detailed history report. And it tells you things like whether the car's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. In addition to that, it shows you the MOT history, the ownership changes, the reg plate changes, the average market value, the spec, and a whole lot more. By the way, this isn't just a UK thing either, it works in 35 different countries. So like I say, it is a really thorough check. If the car's been involved in an accident, sometimes it shows you photographs of the recorded damage, so you can see just how bad it was. Also, sometimes you can see photographs from the last time the car was advertised, so you can compare the condition. Like I say, it's a really useful tool. It doesn't take long and it isn't expensive, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK, and you'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do. And you can use that promo code as many times as you like. So, thanks Carvertical for sponsoring today's video. Right, back to the Mercedes review. As you'd expect, this V6 turbo sounds lovely. I do love a V6. Obviously, I'd always gravitate towards a V8, but I think you can't beat a nice V6. There's just something really complete about the way they sound. The V6 is mated to a 9-speed 9G Tronic automatic gearbox, which does a great job. I've driven many Mercs with this 9-speed gearbox, and it doesn't really get much better. It's a standard automatic with a torque converter, so you get the creep through traffic, and the gear changes are smooth and seamless. But when you want to change gear, they're almost instant. The gear changes obviously aren't as quick as a DCT, but they're not far behind. It just suits this car really well. And also you can change the gears manually using these paddles. Not that I'd bother, to be honest. If you leave it to its own devices, it does a pretty fine job. So if we floor it down, kick down to third, nobody needs more power than that. 328 brake horsepower is plenty. It also handles really well. There's not much body roll in corners. It corners nice and flat. The steering feels well weighted, it's not overly assisted. While it might not feel as sharp as a 5 Series, it's not far behind. There are a couple of negatives to point out though. There is the odd rattle in the cabin, which is a bit irritating. My AMG GT was exactly the same. I've had A-classes that rattle. In fact, I've had to stuff playing cards in various places just to stop it rattling. This isn't too bad, but there is the odd little annoying vibration. And because the whole car is so quiet and well soundproofed, you really pick up on them. It is a bit irritating, I'll admit. The other downside with this big V6 is its appetite for unleaded. This will average about 10.5 litres per 100 kilometres, which is Australian for about 26-27 British mpg, which isn't terrible for a car like this with 328 brake horsepower, but it might start to annoy you when you're filling up every 5 days. The other thing is, when you're driving this around town or around the city, it does feel a bit cumbersome. You know, something like a smaller C-Class is certainly lighter and nippier. On the bright side though, you do get much more room in the E-Class, no matter where you sit. The 213 is 4 centimetres longer than the 212, and that translates to a bit more interior space. But you also get a decent sized boot as well. You get over 500 litres of space. You know how a BMW 540i is a great car for the driver? Well, I think the E400 is a great car for driver and passengers alike. And that's the real difference with this car. It's definitely a car I'd buy. Sadly though, in the UK, this car isn't available. The E400 was available as a 212 coupe, weirdly, and that's it. I don't really know why either, because you'd think there'd be an appetite for this kind of car in the UK. Your only option, sadly, is to import one from Japan. When I've had a look on various Japanese car sites, you could get one of these landed in the UK for less than £20,000. So it is, I know I sound like a broken record, but it is an awful lot of car for the money. Even though this particular car's got the black interior, thanks to its panoramic glass roof, you do get an awful lot of natural light. It never feels like a dark or gloomy place. Before I disappear, there are a couple more negative things to report. So the steering pilot system doesn't like the rain much. It's a bit like a roofer in that when it starts raining heavily, it just refuses to work. And also the haptic buttons on the steering wheel sometimes have a mind of their own. 9 times out of 10 they're okay, but occasionally it's thrown a bit of a hissy fit and it just hasn't given me what I've wanted. That's about it really. That's all I've picked up on. In terms of reliability, they are quite a reliable car. Early 276 engines can suffer with dodgy timing chains and timing issues and camshaft adjuster issues, especially if they haven't had regular oil changes. They can also suffer with coolant leaks and thermostat issues, but that's about it. On the whole, they are quite reliable. You see, also because this is a bigger displacement, it should put less pressure on the turbos, so the turbos should last a bit longer. It isn't like it's been worked too hard. Also, I believe, although this isn't my kind of thing, they are quite easy to tune. This is an early example from 2016, but they did facelift the 213 in 2020. I've always thought the 213 was a great car, and now they're getting on a bit in age, they're great value for money. But this E400 just takes the whole 213 to another level. If you drive one of these, you'll quickly discover why the E-Class has been Mercedes' top-selling model for decades. They just make perfect sense. You can really see and feel the evolution all the way back to the 124, or the 123, or the 114 even. The 213 E-Class has always been a really good car. The 276 engine has turned it into a great one. Well, I think that's about it, ladies and gents. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, cheers guys. I'll see you next time.